The Thrush Bird. At the western base of Noriguchi-dake in the Japanese Alps, there's a picturesque plateau. All throughout this plateau are scattered small lakes filled with sky-blue water. In the olden days, the road from Shinshu to Hida wound along this plateau, linking lake to lake. However, because fearsome things were known to happen along this route, people referred to it as the Road of the Dead. It has been 200 years since this story was first told. Sitting near the base of this plateau was a small village, where lived a peasant named Heitaro. His greatest love was hunting the birds and beasts of the wild, and with the coming of winter, Heitaro would venture forth with his fowling net and bow and arrow without fail. "Today, if luck is with me, I'll bring down a thrush." Heitaro spread out his great fowling net right in the open plains of the Road of the Dead and waited for an unknowing thrush to fly into it. At this time, it was still in the early hours of morning. The white fog was thick, covering the ground and limiting visibility. Heitaro crouched silently, hidden in the lee of a nearby tree, and patiently smoked a cigarette. After a while, he heard a loud voice coming from the vicinity of his fowling net.
"Get that, Heitaro! Get that, Heitaro!"
Heitaro could hear someone yelling this. Huh? What's that? Heitaro peered into the fog from between the branches of his hiding place. What the? Taken aback, Heitaro held his breath and began to shudder with fear. The voice was coming from something unspeakably terrible. Caught in his fowling net, lined up in a row, were several severed heads of dead men. And what's more, the heads were screaming.
"Get that, Heitaro! We're gonna get that, Heitaro!"
At any minute, it looked like the heads would free themselves and come flying towards Heitaro. Heitaro was too frightened to speak and quickly dove into an open cavern in a nearby rock formation where he lay, shivering. Because the severed heads might be able to come down the same opening that Heitaro had entered, he closed up the hole with another rock. But he could still hear the terrible voices screaming,
"Get that, Heitaro! Get that, Heitaro!"
In time, the dense fog that enveloped the scene began to dissipate, and along with the thinning of the fog, Heitaro could no longer hear the voices. Now's the time to make my escape. Heitaro made no move to gather up his fowling net. Leaving everything behind, he started to run for his village at the base of the plateau. As he was fleeing, however, again the thick white fog began to gather around the ground until Heitaro could no longer see even those things right in front of his eyes. "Ah, this is bad. This is bad. Anything could happen in weather like this." Thinking this to himself, a long shiver ran along his spine. He found himself standing along one of the small lakes that decorated the plateau. From the lake, he could hear certain sounds. It was clearly the sound of someone drinking from the water. Heitaro could also hear the sound of something moving along the ground like a worm. Fearfully, he tried to search through the fog for the source of the sound. "Ah!" Heitaro screamed loudly when he saw the ghastly blue-colored things rolling around on the ground. Drinking the water, dressed in white kimonos, were the yurei of dead men. And there were many of them. Clinging to the banks of the lake, they were pushing each other out of the way to drink from the blue water. Oh no! Wanting desperately to flee, Heitaro turned to run, but his legs were knocking together with terror, and his feet wouldn't move. And it was here that Heitaro was seen.
Heitaro, we've been waiting for you.
In a blind panic, Heitaro drug his unmoving feet, finally breaking into a run. Blindly, he fled across the plateau until somehow or another he arrived at his village. But all was not well, as Heitaro could no longer go hunting and in time fell ill and succumbed to the sickness. When news of this affair reached the people of the village, they said, "Is that so? Things like that really do happen. I guess what they say about that road is true. It really is the road of the dead. A place where you go hunting for thrush, catch severed heads." From that time forth, and for a long time after, no one passed again along that route.